Mike Perry teased his next opponent in BKFC, not only in recent interviews, because there's articles coming out from every MMA news outlet, from every combat sports news outlet, but 2 weeks ago on the MMA Hour with Ariel Helwani. Ariel Helwani pried. He tried and tried. Mike Perry almost fell for his voodoo magic, but Mike Perry kept his mouth shut, and he still has not said a name. But in the last 2 weeks, he's given us enough hints that we believe Mike Perry will be fighting Eddie Alvarez, the Underground King, in a BKFC fight, likely November or December. Oh my goodness.
Oh my God.
I am so excited for this one. It will likely be a pay-per-view, much like the last stacked BKFC card where at the top Mike Perry fought Luke Rockhold, and in the co-main event Eddie Alvarez fought Chad Mendes, and Eddie Alvarez looked good in BKFC. Eddie Alvarez looked good in BKFC, man. He could be another Mike Perry. He's 39 years young. He could make a run in BKFC, I think. And he might be the one to dethrone Mike Perry. He's tough enough, at least. 30-8 for the Underground King, Eddie Alvarez. I can't believe he's almost 40 years old, man. Time flies. I totally forgot he trained with the Black Zillions as well. 16 KO TKOs, 8 submissions, 6 decisions, 9-1 in Bellator. He was the champ there. 4-3-1 in the UFC. He was the champ there. Didn't look that great in one championship upon leaving the UFC. 1-2-1 no contest. Dream as well, the former Ryzen promotion. Dream had a better roster than Ryzen, though, let's be honest. Beat Chad Mendes via split decision, but I think it was the right decision in his BKFC debut. God, I hope he continues to fight in bare knuckle. He got paid just under $1 million to fight in BKFC. I mean, I love the Mike Perrys, the Ben Rothwells, the Eddie Alvarez, although Mike Perry and Ben Rothwell geared towards more of a striking brawler sport. Eddie Alvarez, the Underground King, I mean, Bellator Champion, UFC Champion. The guy actually, carved out a tremendous career in mixed martial arts. But at the end of the day, Eddie Alvarez, he's got a little Philly scumbag in him, you know what I'm saying?
Nobody is happy about the way things are going. Okay. He's a savage. Rick, take it away.
He is a Street Fighter first, a decorated champion mixed martial artist second. And that's what we love about the Underground King. I truly believe that is the best opponent for Mike Perry, and I think that's the best matchup for BKFC for them to actually start making some money from the pay-per-view dollars. Alvarez, like I said, has always been a Street Fighter, then MMA champion. I mean, he's awesome, man. If you didn't like Eddie Alvarez in his prime, arguably wasn't even in the UFC, yet he looked damn good in the UFC until he got smoked by Conor McGregor. I think he might have found a home. Seriously, I don't think Eddie Alvarez is really going to be competitive in MMA anymore. We saw it not go his way in one championship. He didn't like not fighting in the United States, and he's been very vocal about that. If he was okay fighting overseas, I mean, he probably could carve out, a good 4 or 5 fight run in Ryzen and win their belt and just become famous over there, right? But he made it very vocal that he didn't even like fighting in Singapore, too far from home. He needs his support and family with him. He needs his wife yelling, "Oh, let's go!"
Going around one. That is my fucking chick. And if anybody has anything to say, go.
I don't.
Right? In the audience, that was hard for her to come to Singapore with the kids every single time. So whether he fights in maybe like Rampage and Frank Mir's promotion, lower end promotions where you can still get the bag, or just BKFC, I tend to think that BKFC is more his home moving forward. He's almost 40 years old. He's still in really good shape. He looked damn good against Chad Mendes, and I'm so excited for him to potentially fight Mike Perry, I should say. Is Mike Perry going to become the John Jones of BKFC? I think Eddie Alvarez is going to be his biggest test since Michael Venom Page. If you guys haven't watched Mike Perry fight Michael Venom Page, that was one of the best BKFC fights I've ever seen. It had to go to overtime. They had to add another round because it was even. And Mike Perry eventually, just that savage, that dog in him. You saw MVP fading in that last round. And honestly, I gained a ton of respect for Michael Venom Page in that fight. He's crushed a lot of cans in Bellator. He's pretty flashy. Doesn't give us a boring fight, but that's why Bellator has given him all the easier matchups. He had the dog in him as well. And it's not easy to fight Mike Perry. I mean, look what happened to Luke Rockhold. His tooth was chipped and he was like, I'm done. I'm done. Perry, in this article, shout out to bjpen.com, alluded to the fact that he will actually have to make a decent weight cut if he does fight the Underground King. I think this will likely be at 160 pounds, maybe 165 pounds. I don't think 170, but maybe 170. Between 160 and 170, we'll say. Rockhold was 185. So Perry actually said he's pretty big for that fight. He didn't have to cut. If anything, he didn't have to do much other than just be in shape. Luke Rockhold, he said, was 205 upon entering the cage, and Perry was 190. So not a big cut for him. He said he'll have to work on a cut if he fights Eddie Alvarez. But I think that's the fight to make. I think BKFC is going to break the bank with this one. It's going to be unreal. And if Eddie Alvarez wins, you better believe that they're going to book the rematch for this one. I am so excited for this. Now, again, it's not official yet. When it's official, we'll likely make another video. We'll likely talk about it. Let me know your thoughts on the potential of Mike Perry fighting Eddie Alvarez, and also let me know what other fights you want to see on that card. I know John Dodson is supposed to go to Rise and Next and fight MMA. Maybe he puts that on hold and defends his belt at BKFC on that pay-per-view in November, December. Let me know your thoughts.